Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the Real Senior Stoner back at you for your Crossing Technologies Core 2.0 Diamond Dab of the Day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. As always, when you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, send a like, send a comment. I reply to them all. Let's get started with today's topic. It's a doozy. How do we deal with people that don't like us? Now, before I get started with this topic, I want to tell you one of the reasons I'm doing this topic. I was talking to Mrs. Stoner yesterday about how many friends we have, about how few friends we have. And I was discussing why. Why? Well, I think a lot of it was our own choice. So how do you deal with the people that you don't like? There are times in your life when you're going to meet someone who doesn't like you. Their reasoning could be logical and fair. Perhaps you did something to harm them, or maybe they were hurt by an indirect action that you're not even aware of. Or it might be totally unreasonable. Sometimes people just think or believe things for no reason at all, because emotion is often not logical. People can have personality clashes where they just can't see one another eye to eye. You can try to cut those people out of your life, but what if you can't? They may be a spouse of a family member, or a coworker that you need to work closely with, or a boss. How do you cope with this? In these scenarios, you're going to need skills to navigate those situations without making it worse than it needs to be. How do we deal with the people that don't like us? Well, you got to acknowledge that everybody is a critic. People like things. People don't like things. People love to be critical of anyone that does a particular thing, oftentimes out of envy that they aren't the one who's able to do it. Sometimes people hate just to be able to hate on something. They may be a miserable person who's looking to find fault everywhere to not deal with their own negative feelings. It could be somebody who's lashing out as they struggle to find control in their own life. There's a lot of reasons a person can dislike you. The problem may be something that we weren't even responsible for at all. Well, what if you and your coworker apply for the same job? You get the job and they get angry about it. That has nothing to do with you directly. They're allowed to pursue a better wage, life, and progress for yourself, but they may still be angry at you about it. It's much easier to be a hater than a positive contributor. It really doesn't take much effort for a negative person to be negative or hostile to those around them. On the other hand, it takes a lot of effort to be positive when things aren't going so well. But not every critic is a hater. Constructive criticism, even if it's not delivered in the most compassionate ways, is necessary for improvement. Sometimes you can find pearls of wisdom buried in the feelings and the words of others. Don't pour out too much emotional investment into either positive or negative perceptions of yourself by others. Everyone's going to have a different point of view, and not all of them are valid, even the positive ones. You got to make an honest assessment of the situation. Sometimes a person dislikes another person for no reason. It happens. But there's a good chance that there is a reason. Actually, there might be many reasons that a person doesn't like us. And some are definitely more valid than others. Take some time to assess the situation, the other person's behavior, and why they might not like you. The reason may be obvious. Other times, not so much. Their feelings might have been hurt. They might have no way to channel that in a socially accepted way. Well, unfortunately, it can devolve into passive aggressiveness or even aggressive aggressiveness. So, we have to learn to identify the why in the person not liking us. If not, Is there an unbiased, honest person that we would trust, that we could ask about the situation? You see, we might be doing something insensitive or offensive that damages another person's perception of us. So let's acknowledge that we don't have to get along with everybody in the world. Took me a long time to get to that point in life. Perhaps you're not doing anything that others would consider offensive or insensitive. It may be that the two of you don't mix. Oil and water. Some people you click with, some people you don't. And it's not our job to convince everyone in the world to like us. All we really have to do is find a way to peacefully coexist with people that you don't get along with, if you need to be close to one another. You may not be able to avoid that coworker, but you can keep the work relationship professional by acting courteous and respectfully. It may be difficult if it's a matter of clashing personalities, because people with strong personalities can end up in conflict if they cannot find a comfortable middle ground to operate from. We must minimize contact and try not to engage in petty conflicts. The person you don't get along with may try to throw hostility at us. Avoid throwing it back at them, no matter how justified it may be. It may appear to be contrary to the common advice of always standing up for yourself. But standing up for yourself doesn't mean we should throw ourselves into an unwinnable conflict either. You may end up fighting with that person, throwing away bits of your emotional energy, peace, and happiness. For what? To do it all over again tomorrow? It's just not worth it in most cases. So by refusing to engage and responding with your own negativity, you're stripping them of the power of the conflict. You might yield ground if there's something you have to do together with the other person. You might want to do things even their way if it's a better way. But you got to ask yourself whether you can bend to reduce tension or not. Remember, the only option you might have is just to minimize contact with the person to avoid unnecessary conflicts. You got to find a way to release anger and frustration that's pent up here. The worst thing we can do with not being liked is dwell on it. Oh my God, I'm not being liked. Oh, it's something that needs, frankly, to be pushed out of the mind when you're not actively engaged in dealing with it. Otherwise, it's just going to cause unnecessary stress and anxiety. You don't want to live with life dreading interactions with a person that doesn't like you and that you can't avoid. Don't let them have free room and board in your head. They don't deserve it, those kind of people. Do whatever it takes to get those thoughts out of your head. Go wherever you have to do to ground yourself in the moment and focus on whatever activity needs to be done. It will help you pull your mind away from dwelling on dealings you had with the person who you think doesn't like you. And spend more time with the people that love you and care about you. The easiest way to cancel out a negative person is to surround yourself with positive, loving people who do care about you. That positive energy will help counteract any stress and frustration that came from dealing with the negative person. And if you happen to be in a place where you don't have those kinds of circuits or circles, build it. Develop one. And don't throw away valuable time and emotional energy on the negative interactions. Get through them when you must and move on to the things that are more worthwhile. Life's just too short to play pointless games with petty people. I truly hope you enjoyed today's discussion about how to deal with people that don't like you. Because guess what? They're out there. It's the life of a human being. Some people like us, some people don't. And you know, I have a way of kind of dealing with the ones that don't. The hey with you. I have an easy way of dealing with it. The hey with you. I spend my time on the people that do. Senior Stoner appreciates all of you being here today. We're going to have a nice diamond hit on our core 2 by crossing technologies. Here we go, everybody. Cheers. Have a wonderful day. And let's get that dab train rolling. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Exploding dabs. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a great day. Cheers.